What's going on, everybody? Thank you for joining us today. We are on week 11.
11.
It's crazy how time is flying by.
Yeah,
I would
so
never
fast.
expected this to be moving as fast as it is. But we're here, and thank you for joining us. If you've been following along, you've been following the process on building your business and making sure the foundation is solid. And we're just continuing on that journey to really creating an entity that's meant to last.
Yeah, we want you to be successful for the long term.
Yep.
Trying to make business easy for you. That's what we do. Not easy. Simple. Making business simple.
That's right. Because if it's simple, you can focus on other things. You can focus on some harder things.
And you don't get intimidated. I think one of the reasons a lot of people don't start a business is because they are intimidated by the process.
Yeah, it can be intimidating.
It can be, very much so. So last week we talked about, what did we talk about? Picking a business entity.
Yes. Setting up the bank account.
Registering your business.
Registering the business and just really putting the business into play. At this point, making it official.
Making it official. We are almost ready to launch. I mean, I feel like at this point you could probably, once you have your business license and all of these things, we talked about building a website. Every single week is just one layer, one block on the foundation. We're building a strong foundation. And at this point, we are just smooth sailing from here.
Yeah, it's time to generate revenue. Yeah, well, let's get in it.
Let's do it. Oh, yeah. That's my job. I got to push the buttons. The Business Project Podcast.
Business can be complicated.
We break it down so regular people like us
can understand and find success. I'm John Crespo, accountant and consultant.
I'm Casey Bryant, marketer and event planner.
If you run a business
or want to run a business,
welcome to the show. And we're back.
We're back. We're changing our system a little bit, and I got to push all the buttons and do the cameras and the videos and all of this, so y'all just bear with me.
Listen, with progress comes practice till we get the process down packed, and that's just what it is.
Yeah. If you guys are on YouTube, by the way, if you didn't know, we have YouTube. Look. All right, this is our camera. Now it's going to go to John. Ready? Bam. And then it's going to go to me. Ready? Yay, bam. All right, back to both of us. Look at that. I'm so talented. All right.
That's awesome. I love it.
Okay, so this week, week 11, we're getting into the accounting, setting up your accounting system, filling out your starting budget, and then we're going to talk all about your business plan. It's time to finish it.
Finishing it up. And we hit most of the business plan process in the beginning. We're just going to, just solidify that it's done. And go over the different categories of a business plan, a little high level, because we've implemented a lot of it already. So, but this is it. Now it's getting real.
It is getting for real. I forgot to switch to your camera. You got to keep talking. Ready?
So now it's getting real.
Yes. Okay, so now we're going to go to me. Look at this. Okay, guys, I'm so excited. I'm sorry. All right. So setting up your accounting system, I think a lot of people don't do this, and it is actually pretty simple. And I'm going to put the camera over to you so you can talk about how to set up your accounting system, like, QuickBooks or Wave apps or whatever the tool you use. Tell us all about it, John.
Yeah.
There we go.
For sure. This is a fun episode. But by now you should have already had a conversation with your CPA. You should have already had a conversation with the lawyer, so you have an understanding of what is needed to set your business up right, and really just to make sure it's moving in the right direction. So now, after those conversations, it's time to set up what's called an accounting system. A business has sales, right? You sell stuff, you sell a product or a service, and you're going to get money for it. You're going to get paid for it. But you also have expenses. So you're going to pay rent, you're going to pay utilities, you're going to pay marketing expenses, you're going to pay subscription plans, whatever programs you need to run your business, that's cost to the business. So in order for a business to be able to track that, you have to have a system in place. And there's a bunch of accounting systems out there. You can have everything from QuickBooks to Wave to Xero, you name it. And I highly recommend, just taking some time and visiting the sites and seeing which one is the best fit for you because, QuickBooks is not necessarily the best for everyone, although it's the most popular.
Yeah, for sure. I would even recommend probably not starting with QuickBooks. That would be my personal opinion. Just doing a couple of businesses. I feel like QuickBooks is very overwhelming. And we use Wave apps for our businesses, and I really like it. Xero is another one. I think there are so many out there now.
There's an up-and-comer called Patriot.
Patriot.
Which I really like. Yeah, Patriot is so user-friendly.
Is it? Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Lots and lots of them out there. Yeah. The main thing that you want to look for is finding one that connects with your bank account. I feel like that is the most important part of an accounting system and even if you have to pay a little bit extra, which you might have to in order to do that, it's totally worth it. It's going to save you hours and hours and hours and hours of manually having to look at your bank statement and type that into your accounting software. So make sure that, number one, when you open a bank account, you have a bank account that has the ability to do that. And number two, when you look at accounting software, that it has the ability to link with your bank statement.
Great that you brought that up. And most of them do. Most of them have that ability, and because they should. Right? Because today everything is online, everything is electronic, everything is technology. So what those systems do is they real time, they will pull over your transactions from your bank account, what has come in and what has come out. They'll pull it over into that system so that way you can categorize it into the right categories that make sense for your business. So, let's use a restaurant as an example. We have a lot of those around here. Right? A typical expenses for a restaurant, you have supplies, and then you have rent, and then you have payroll, and then you have utilities, and you have, those are typical expenses for a restaurant. There's many more, but we have to fit within our timeline of discussion here. You want to make sure that the expenses that are coming out are being met in those categories, so the accounting system allows you to do that.
Yeah, that is very important. And if you don't know I think the hardest part is getting it set up and maybe not knowing what transactions go under certain categories. And a lot of times the ones that are just when you start with an accounting system, it has some that are already in there, just, willy-nilly, like these are the ones that we've set in there. And sometimes those aren't necessarily a good fit for your business. And so that's when it's great to meet with an accounting person, because then they can help you make sure that those categories are fit for your business. Yeah. And they can also talk you through whatever reoccurring expenses you have, what categories those need to be in.
Yeah, a great bookkeeper is essential in this part. You have some that will help you set it up, do the initial setup and allow you to take it over from there, depending on your business. And, if it's an expense that you want to keep in-house for the moment, they can help you set it up and then you just take it over. Or you can have them manage it for you. And just that way it's being categorized properly. Because what you want to do is make sure your transactions are categorized in a way when it comes time to file your taxes, it transfers over to your tax return fairly seamlessly. It makes it easier to file your taxes.
And you might be surprised at how affordable a bookkeeper is. I mean, sometimes it's, $75 a month to have a bookkeeper just do all of your transactions, to reconcile, which is another thing that I learned when I got a business. You have to reconcile your bank statements, like balancing your checkbook at the end of the month. And just to be able to hand that over and get something off your plate and not have to worry about it, I would definitely look into paying somebody to just take that over for you. And if you can afford it, it is going to be worth it.
It's definitely a worthwhile expense on the business so that you can focus on what's important, which is growing your business. You have somebody handling the mundane tasks of numbers.
The numbers. So fun. Right. Woohoo. All right. So hopefully by now you guys feel comfortable and ready to tackle the accounting part. We also talked about the bank statements that or the financial statements that you need to be familiar with, which is the balance sheet, profit and loss, and cash flow. Those are your three most important. And most of the time when you have an accounting system, these will automatically do those reports for you. So that is also very, very important.
Yes, because it gives you a picture of the health of your business. You want to know how healthy your business is. You want to know where your expenses are going, where your income's coming from. Are you generating enough income to cover your expenses? You want to know all of that. So those reports help.
Let's take a break.
Yes.
And when we get back, we are going to go over starting a budget, the B word.
Budget.
Budget. So fun.
Let's
All right,
go.
let's go. The 5 things that you can do to get business for $0. These are some marketing tips just for you.
I need more income.
I need more customers.
I'm just getting started. I've been in business for a while and I need fresh ideas.
People just don't know about my business.
I don't know what to do.
If you are a business owner on a budget and any of these questions have crossed your mind, we've got 5 things that you can do to bring in more business without spending a penny. Plus, you can hold yourself accountable with a free printout included with the video. It's time to get off the sidelines and take some action. Check out this free video today.
I love that commercial.
I do too. I like it. I know. She's like, yes,
Yay!
more customers.
For free.
Woohoo. Yes.
Who wouldn't want to get more customers for free?
That is a really good video. If you guys are not aware, we have a website called thebusinessproject.com.
Yes.
And on that website, we have all types of tools. There's 28 steps to launch your business. It is a free video and you get a PDF with it that has a printout or a checklist of all the things you need to do to start your business. And then that video that we just did, the commercial for the 5 things you can do to get customers for $0. It's a win-win-win. It's really, really wonderful video. So make sure you head on over to thebusinessproject.com and get access to those.
Yeah, who wouldn't want? So you're following our podcasts along. So you're kind of like you're understanding what you need to do, but then you can go to thebusinessproject.com and actually get that checklist and check it off as you do it. That way you don't miss anything. Just makes sense.
It does. There's homework. There's a community on there.
That's right.
That's where we ask questions. It's just getting started. This is a brand new platform. I mean, we're only on week 11. So we're just developing it, but we encourage you guys to go on there and utilize all of that.
Yeah, you won't be disappointed for sure. No.
All right, budgeting.
Budgeting.
The B word.
Oof.
The dreaded B word.
All right, who does budgeting? Who does personal budgeting? Probably not many people, right? We're in a country that's believes in debt, right? So very few people probably actually do a budget, a household budget. Those that do, you kind of like prepare yourself for the unexpected. You prepare yourself for expenses. So that mentality should come over to your business as well. If you do a household budget, you want to do a budget for your business, and it just helps you make sure you're allocating enough funds for what you need to run your business.
Yeah, a budget is so important, whether it be your personal or your business. It's essential to being successful, and also making sure that when you're budgeting, like you said, for unexpected things, because it's going to happen. There are going to be unexpected things happen in your business. Like I'm just telling you right now, something's going to break. Somebody's going to be unhappy. It's a guarantee. And so since it's a guarantee, you better guarantee that you prepare for it, because you don't want that to ruin your day. And when you budget, I think that's the best thing about a budget is you are prepared for these things so that when they happen, it doesn't throw a wrench in your bicycle and just help you fall all over and ruin your day.
Yeah, and really, understanding how to create that budget will be important. So you've done your research on your market analysis. You know how much it's going to cost to buy supplies. You know how much you're anticipating on selling. You've done all that research already. You have those numbers already. That's what you use to create that budget. Right? You're gonna say, okay, we need to bring in, and actually your budget it's a living document, right? It's a living process because your budget has to change as your business is operating, because you're gonna see how things move, right? So you're gonna know when it's time to purchase, know when it's time to increase sales, and know when it's time to save. right? So you got to start, but you start with an estimate.
Yeah, you're not going to get your budget right the first time.
No.
It's absolutely impossible. There are going to be expenses that you miss. There are going to be things that you over budget, things that you under budget. And just like we talk about with pretty much everything you do starting a business, is you really want to make sure that you just start somewhere, because you're not going to get anywhere if you don't start. So this is just a starting place, right? Make it adjustable, and it just gets you headed in the right direction. And then you make those adjustments as you go along.
And the accounting system that you have is going to help you in creating that budget, because you're going to be able to see how much you're spending on particular categories of expenses, and you're going to be able to see what inventory items are moving quicker than others as well. So it'll help you determine, okay, how to create a budget to meet the needs of those specific categories. So utilize that accounting system software. Believe it or not, that is going to be a tool that's going to help your business be successful.
Yeah. And I mentioned in the podcast, I think last week, about the Profit First book. That's another great book. There are a lot of business books out there about how to manage your money and how to budget. And it might take you a little while to find one that works for you. You might have to read a couple different books, which is totally fine. And like I said before, you just want to start. And once you start, play around with something for a little bit, see what's working, see what's not working, and adjust it to fit the needs of you and your business.
For sure.
Read.
Good stuff.
There's lots of people out there giving lots of good advice.
Yes. Yep. Take some, what do you call it? Personal financial classes and watch a couple videos on that. It'll give you that Profit First. I really like that model because it kind of forces you to pay yourself, which will then force you to make sure you're budgeting right for your expenses. It forces your hand. So that's a good model to look at, amongst others.
The thing I like about that is that it gives you percentages. And so, you want to spend 80%, and I'm just throwing numbers out there, but you want to spend 80% in your expenses, your operating expenses. You want to spend 10% for your savings. You want to spend 10% for paying yourself. And the whole goal is to lower your operating expenses so that you can pay yourself more, right? And so I love how it puts it in buckets. So like, here's your bucket for this, here's your bucket for this. When that bucket's empty, you don't just pull from this bucket. That's not how it works. But it helps you, just divide those out and see it clearly where your money's going or where it needs to go.
That accountability piece, I think, is huge, because, the more that you hold yourself accountable to following the process, the more you get used to actually doing it, and the more it becomes second nature. So budgeting is a process, and it's something that you should always focus on making sure you're following.
I love that you mentioned accountability, because accountability is so important. And I think that's another role that an accountant or a bookkeeper can play in your life, or even a business coach, is once you get your budget down and once you start recording those and get moving, meeting with somebody on a quarterly or a monthly basis to say, hey, look, this is where we are. Because it's really easy when you're doing it yourself to be like, oh, I just overspent in that category. No big deal. And then it just happens over and over and over again. And you get to a point to where you're not in such a great position. But if you have somebody that you can be accountable for and say, I didn't do great here, I want to get better, then they can help you do that without just like rolling it over and over and over again.
For sure. Yeah. You want an accountability partner. Yeah, for sure. Necessary to be successful.
All right. Anything else with budgeting?
No, I think we're good on that one. But if you have questions around starting a budget, number one, thebusinessproject.com is a great resource, but also put some information, put some comments down, because we are actively looking at our comments and responding. So, any questions you have, just share it. This is, like we said, part of the community.
If you're an existing business that has been operating new or for a while, and you have something that you completely forgot to budget, then put it in the comments too. Help somebody out, because maybe they'll be like, oh yeah, that's something I need to add to my budget too. So what is something that you're like, oh, this was a surprise?
Yeah.
Put it in the comments.
Yeah. You'd be helping somebody out with that.
All right, we're going to take a quick break and we're going to come back and we're going to talk about all the elements of the business plan. So we've talked about pretty much all of them, but we're going to give them to you in just one quick summary so that you can get your business plan all done. Solid. We'll be back.
CFD Services Inc. is your one-stop shop for small business support. We take care of the small stuff so you can take care of what matters most, your clients. Visit our website at cfdservicesinc.com for more information on what we offer and to schedule your free consultation today. We're back.
Call CFD Services today.
Not tomorrow.
Speaking of accountability.
Today.
He's my business coach.
Keep you accountable.
Yeah, I know. Yes. No matter how far you are in business, whether you're an expert that has been doing it for a million years or if you're brand new, just having somebody from the outside that can help you get out of your mind and look up is just so amazingly helpful.
Yeah. There's different levels to how we view ourselves in our businesses. A business owner is typically always on the micro level because you're always just in it, in the cut, kind of like working in your business. But having someone that is not necessarily in it on the outside gives you that macro view. And that means more of a wider view of your business and where you want the business to go. And it kind of helps you, readjust your view and bring you out a little bit sometimes, which is necessary.
It is very necessary and very helpful. And sometimes they just have a different perspective because a lot of times in your business, you're emotionally attached too.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Emotionally attached. And when you have somebody come in to mentor you or help you, you can they're not emotionally attached. So they can help you think a little bit more reasonably.
Yeah. Add more logic to the emotion.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So business plan. I'm going to pull up our notes because there's lots of pieces. I want to make sure that we don't miss any of them. And there's no wrong way to do a business plan. If you look at templates, which by the way, we have a template available when you take this full course on the business project, but there are 5 bazillion templates online if you search for a business plan template, and almost all of them are different. There's something different in them. But these are a couple of things and we've talked about almost all of these, I think all of these for the most part in the past podcast. So if you haven't gone back and listened, you want to go back to listen to our previous podcast because it walks you through a lot more details on all of these. But again, not everyone is the same. You haven't failed if you missed one of these or if you wanted to add something else. This is your active living document of your business. And it's something that you need to constantly be editing and improving and looking back on. It's not something that you just do once and then you're done and then say peace out and you throw it in a drawer and never look at it again.
Right. And I think we spoke about this previously, that it's a living document, So we had the pandemic. No one was ready for the pandemic. And the plan that businesses had in place went out the window. Right? Some businesses review their plan every 3 years, or some businesses have a 5-year business plan and only review it in 5 years. The pandemic kind of forced us to look at more short-term business planning, right? So because you never know what the future can hold, so you wanted to add a short-term aspect to your business plan. So we went to the year mark. So just know that your business plan is a living document and can be adjusted and should be looked at frequently.
That's such a great point. So let's get into it. All of the things. The first thing that you need to have in your business plan is an executive summary.
Yes.
And that is just an overall. So if somebody were looking at your business plan, either to give you a loan or to invest in your company, then this is everything that they need to know about your company is in your executive summary.
Yeah, it's like the appetizer.
Elevator pitch, kind of?
Yeah, kind of like a little bit more detailed elevator pitch, but it's the pitch for your business. So it kind of it gives a synopsis of the business. And then, everything else in that business plan comes out of the executive summary.
Exactly. And then the next one is the company description. We went over the company description in a previous podcast.
It's pretty cut and dry.
Yep. This talks about your goals, your products, your services, your target market. So the executive summary is more of an overview, like your mission statement and your mission and your vision. And this one kind of goes into a little bit more detail of what exactly your business wants to accomplish, what you're going to offer, what your target market is.
Yeah, you drill down. You start drilling down after the executive summary. So this is the company you want to get detailed here.
And then is your market analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we did
had a great episode on market analysis. This really puts the data down into your business plan of the research that you've done as far as who your market is, how you're going to penetrate the market, and what kind of like your demographic that you're going after. It really details who you're going after.
Yeah, and you need to know that not because you're going to steal their ideas or because you're going to get intimidated, but we talked about you need to know who your target market is or who your competitors are, because it can inspire you, it can give you inspiration, it can also help you figure out what your niche is. So even if you're in the same industry, say cleaning industry, and there's 5 bazillion other cleaning industries, but none of them are doing commercial, or none of them do a great job with carpets or cars or whatever, you can figure out exactly what you want to niche to and how you can stand out.
Very good. Love it. And I can't add anything more to that.
Awesome.
That was great.
All right. So we talked about executive summary. We talked about your company description. We talked about your market analysis. And then the next part is your marketing and your sales plan.
This is the kind of like the execution of how you're going to execute your market analysis, right? You've done that research. You know who you're going after. You know who your competitors are. You know what the opportunities are. You know what the threats are. So now you're deploying a strategy on how you're going to be successful.
And we also mentioned that in this one, you can blow money quickly. This one, you can just go through money because marketing can be expensive. Sales can be expensive. And once you start a business, everybody and their mama is going to want your money, your marketing dollars. And this part of your business plan is where you can be very intentional and think through and plan so that when you are actually ready to operate and you have all these people asking you for money and it sounds like, oh, this is a good idea and this is a good idea and this is a good idea, you can say, no, we have a plan. It's in our business plan and this is what we're going to do.
Very good.
No more? No. Man, this is great.
Yeah, oh, we're hitting it. We went through this research in our previous podcast.
All of it is there.
You guys are probably reading stuff back to us as we're speaking right now.
Yeah, so we should give them the next one, the management and organization strategy. What is that? Woo!
Somebody put on the comments what your management organization strategy is.
What is that? Yeah, we're not even going to tell you. Products and services is the next one, what your products and services are.
Yes. Again, this is all this stuff kind of births out of your market analysis, your marketing and sales plan. It all bursts out of there, but you're getting into now the details of it all. You know, the details of the product that you're going to offer, the details of the services that you're going to offer. And you break it down and then you give more detail as far as what it is and what it's meant to accomplish.
And another important thing that we talked about with your products and services is that we recommend when you're starting out that you start simple. Don't go in and feel like you have to add 5 bazillion products and services. Another thing that I also see businesses make a mistake here is they'll start with one thing. They'll push milkshakes, say, like we're offering milkshakes. And then they will have not put the right amount of attention and branding and money into their market and their product launch and their logo and their branding. And it's obvious. And so people don't necessarily flock to their milkshakes. And then they get very desperate and they're like, okay, well, now we're going to try burgers. and then they do the burgers halfway too, and it's bad. And so start simple, just pick a couple of things and do it really, really, really well.
Become an expert at it. Yes, you want to be the best at it.
Put some time, money, and energy into making it awesome.
Love it.
Competitive analysis is the next one.
Yeah. Who are your competitors?
Who are your competitors? Yep.
Do a deep dive in your competitors too. You can talk about how long they've typically been in business, their typical sales, um, the success of the market, what the fail rate is. So you really get into deep dive into who your competitors are and what the competitive market looks like.
Yeah, and I think the market analysis, I probably misspoke a little bit earlier. The market analysis is more broad range. So this is what your market is like in general. And you can even, I would recommend looking at different areas. And, it doesn't have to be your city or your location, but in general, what are people doing in your market? What does your market look like? And then your competitive analysis is more targeted towards what your competitors are doing specifically.
Yep.
And then the next one is operating plan.
Yeah, this is just the nuts and bolts of how your particular business is going to operate. Who's in what position? How many, let's say, customer service agents do you need? How many administrative people do you need? How many locations are you going to operate out of? It's really just the nuts and bolts of what your day-to-day, let's just say that, day-to-day.
What systems you're going to use to operate, what accounting system are you going to use? How are you going to track leads? Well, how are you going to track, what are you going to do after you take good care of a customer? What does that look like? Just the whole operational aspect of your business.
Yep.
And then the financial projections.
Yeah, that's the good zone. This is when you're putting down, all right, so the financial projections, they entail your actual projected profit and loss statements for a period of time. So again, you have different business plans. You can have a 1-year plan, you can have a 3-year plan, you can have a 5-year plan. The projection is how do you see your business at the end of the year or at the end of 3 years, at the end of 5 years, and you could do a projection for each year, right? If you're doing a one-year business plan, then you do a month-to-month projection on how you're going to look by the end of the year. If you go to 3-year, then you go year 1, year 2, year 3. A 5-year, you go up to 5 years. But you're doing a profit and loss analysis of your business. What is your revenue coming from? What are your expenses coming from? And how is that going to look down the road? And also your balance sheet. Are you going to be purchasing some assets? Do you anticipate purchasing assets? Do you anticipate selling some stuff? And you create those balance sheets and the cash flow statements. So it's taking those reports that your accounting system is creating and projecting those out for however long your business plan is created for.
Yeah, a lot of times you can do this in a spreadsheet. You just pull an Excel spreadsheet and plug it in. So like these are the services or the products that we're going to offer. In January, this is how much we expect to sell. February, this is how much we expect to sell. These are all of the expenses. This is our internet. This is our rent. This is how much the bracelets cost. This is how much the beads cost. And you just break it all out. This is even my time. This is how much my time costs. And break it all out. And a lot of times when I see businesses and their financial projections or this part of it, it's not done it's way overestimated. So they're like, I'm going to come in here, I'm going to open this business, and I'm going to be a millionaire. And then they're like 3 months into it, and they're like, oh, okay, maybe this is not what it's like. So just making sure that you are being realistic, and that's where having a mentor come in or working with an accountant or somebody that can help take you back down to earth and make sure that your projections are accurate or reachable, maintainable.
Very true. Very important. I think a good example of a good financial projection in a business plan is, I'll take an industry, let's say a seasonal industry, landscaping company. You're projecting your busy season and your slow season in your financial projection. So that allows you actually in the budgeting process to make sure you're budgeting properly so that your business can overcome the slow season. So, that's the importance of having projections and creating those financial projections is how are you going to overcome highs and lows financially in your business?
That's the key question. How are we going to do it? And you can answer all that in all of this whole business plan. That's the whole purpose of it.
Yep.
And then the last part is, which we haven't talked about this one yet, is your appendices. That's like any charts or graphics or attachments or any of that type of stuff that you want to add. This is where all your visual things go.
Yeah. Also, your research, where you got your research from, what resources you use to help answer a lot of the questions when it came into creating your business and creating this plan. So that's where, all that stuff lives, so it can be revisited and updated. Again, it's a living document. A lot of this stuff is going to change. Your business plan is not written in stone. So be ready to review it with your coach, with your accountant, with your CPA. Review it together, and just to make sure that it is really in line with where your business is headed and where you want it to go.
I think we did it.
Yeah.
We worked it out, man. We talked about your accounting system. We talked about your starting budget. And now you have all of the headings that you need for your business plan. And if you haven't gone back and listened to our previous podcast, we go through a lot of that in a lot more detail. And so feel free to head on over to YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts and play those on repeat. Get out your notebook and take some notes and get to work.
Right. Yeah, that's awesome. You got the outline. We just gave you the outline. Now go back in the previous podcast and fill it out.
Exactly. And we are so thankful for you guys for listening and for supporting. Please, please, please share this with other business owners that you think will need. They all need to know this information. Makes it simple.
Yeah, they do. And then like, comment, share, all that stuff that helps get the word out. This is meant for everyone. Everyone that's trying to get into business. This podcast is for you. We want you to be successful. That's why we're doing this. So like and share it. Like and share it with the people that you know. And let's get the word out.
That really is important. I always hear people say that at the end of their podcasts. Because it is so important that the people that do listen to this don't just listen idly, and that you're actually taking action on the things, that we talk about, but then that you're also sharing this with other people so that it can help more people. So make sure you tune in next week, next Thursday.
See you later.
See ya.